Okay, so good day, students. For our week 7 topics, we are going to discuss about the developing a teaching plan. So we are done with our week 6, which includes your assessment, assessing the readiness of the learner, the determinants of learning, and the different learning style. So after the assessments, we will now proceed with our planning. So this your week 7 talks about the planning, developing a teaching plan. For the learning outcome, at the end of the discussion, the students will be able to demonstrate the ability to write behavioral objectives accurately and concisely using the three components of condition, performance, and criterion. Explain the teaching methods appropriate for teaching in the cognitive, effective in psychomotor domains. So, isa-isahin po natin yan later on. And after the discussion, kailangan marunong na kayo mag-create ng well-written objectives. Ano yung mga methods na ginagamit natin in writing a well-written objectives? And what is the difference between the objectives and goal? Explain the teaching methods appropriate for teaching in the cognitive, effective in psychomotor. We're going to differentiate the three. Paano nale-level up ang inyong cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain. Develop teaching plans that reflect internal consistency between elements. So after this discussion, dapat marunong na kayong gumawa ng sarili niyong teaching plans. O ito yung magiging guide nyo all throughout while you are giving or providing health education to your patient or clients. Okay, for the week 7 topics, again, binigay ko po sa inyo yung assignments. So, dapat meron na kayong um, idea kung ano yung mga nilalaman ng ating week 7. So, we have the definition of the learning objective. What is the use? Bakit kailangan lagi may learning objective in every start of the learning process? The Bloom's taxonomy, para saan siya ginagamit? The different learning domains, we have the cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor. Formulating goals and objective. Sabi ko, what is the difference between the two? And how to formulate a well-written objective. The importance of behavioral objectives and paano gamitin yung SMART method and your ABCD approach. So, how to create a teaching plan, ano yung mga key components, and the different learning and the learning contract. So, yan yung ating week 7 topics. Again, binigay ko sa inyong assignment para meron na kayong idea before ng lecture. Okay? So, dapat nare-recall na lang po yung topic na po yan. So, when you say learning objectives, this is a specific, measurable statement that describes what the learner is expected to know, do, or feel after a learning activity. Again, learning objective, ito yung expected. What the learner is expected to know, do, or feel after a learning activity. So it focuses on observable and accessible outcomes that guide both teaching and evaluation. Again, concise statement po siya that describes the intended measurable performance or behavior the learner should exhibit after the instruction or after the education or after the discussion. Okay. In your nursing process, diba, we have different steps to be followed. Meron tayong assessment, planning, implementing, diagnosing, implementing, and evaluation. So also in the education process, we have different steps: assessment, planning, implementing, and evaluation. So in your planning, tapos tayo sa ating assessment, in your planning, before you face your client or your patient, before selecting what to be taught, the teacher or the educator must decide what the learner is expected to accomplish. So nasa bahay ka pa lang, inaaral mo pa lang yung topics mo, alam mo na dapat kung ano yung dapat matutunan ng patient or ng client mo. So therefore, the learner's needs are determined by identifying the gap on knowledge, skills, and attitude before developing behavioral objectives. Okay, let us first define what is a goal. So when you say goal, this is your learning outcomes. So a goal is your final outcome to be achieved at the end of the teaching and the learning process. Again, when we say goal, final outcome yan. So it referred to as your desired learning outcomes. Pag sinabing goal, these are global, broad, or general in nature. Ano yung plano mo? Okay? And usually these are long-term targets for both the learner and the teacher. So yun yung keyword po doon. Global or general in nature and are long-term targets. When we say objective, it is a specific, single, concrete, and one-dimensional behavior. So it describes the performance that learners should be able to exhibit. So again, when we say objective, it is specific, single, concrete, one-dimensional behavior. Objectives are short-term compared to your goal and should be achieved at the end of one teaching session or shortly after several teaching sessions. Again, ang pinaka-keyword when you say objective is specific and short-term behavior. Okay, so let us differentiate the two. When you say again your goal, this is your plan. Ano yung gusto mong ma-achieve? For example, as a student, gusto mong matuto ng proper vital signs. Gusto mong matuto na mas magaling kang sa pagkuha ng BP. And ano yung mga objectives mo? Ano yung mga ways mo to achieve that goal? That is your objective. So, pwedeng isa sa objectives mo, aralin mo muna ano yung mga principles of taking the BP, ano yung mga do's and don'ts, ano yung mga normal values, and mag-set ka ng time. Dapat nandun yung characteristics na smart, yung ginawa mong plan, and you are using the ABCD approach. Okay? Ano pa? So, in achieving your goal, dapat hindi lang isa ang objectives mo. Okay? Kasi hindi naman kaya na isa lang yung step para ma-achieve ang goal. So there should be a lot of objectives. So the more objectives, the easier for you to achieve that goal. Again, goal, pag sinabing goal, learning outcomes yan, final or broad and general in nature and usually are long-term. Wala kang specific target. Okay? Kung kailan mo siya matatapos. But when you say objective, specific yan and usually short term. Okay? So objective must be met before the goal to be achieved. Dapat lahat ng objective mo ma-meet mo muna. And then therefore, saka mo lang ma-achieve yung goals mo. But goals without objective cannot be achieved. Again, goals without objective cannot be achieved. Puro ko lang plano, okay? Gusto mo maging dean's lister. Gusto mo maging top notcher. Pero wala ka namang siniset na objective to achieve that goal. Okay? Again, goals without objective cannot be achieved. And objectives without goals will never result to anything meaningful and worthwhile. Tandaan po yun, ha? Goals will tell you where you want to go, and objectives will tell you exactly how to get there. So both must be written realistic and learner-centered. Okay, so here are the following examples, statement. So you have to identify the following as goal or objectives. Letter A, reduce the degree of malnutrition among young children. So for you to identify if it is goal or objective, i-identify mo muna kung broad or general yung statement. Okay? So reduce the degree of malnutrition among young children. This is more on general statement. So this is goal. Provide mothers in Kota, Kinabalu with relevant information regarding health and nutrition. So this is more specific. Okay? So this one is an objective. Effectively use volunteers as a major factor in helping people to learn. To learn what? And ano yung mga major factor? So this one is a goal. Provide a 4-week training program for the volunteers that covers basic nutritional, informational for mother and information on adult teaching methods. So this one is more specific than letter C. So this one is objective. Okay. So here are another examples of your statement. Again, so letter A, eliminate or minimize medication error among newly hired nurses of the first quarter of the year. So if you check the statement, it is more of specific than global or general. So letter A is objective. Letter B, become the first choice nursing school in the country. So this one is broad and general and usually long-term yan. Okay, so that one is goal. Provide safe and quality nursing care among patients. It's general, like, ano rin, general statement. Kasi paano ka magpo-provide ng safe and quality nursing care? Okay, that one is goal. To be consistent top performing school in the licensure examination in the next 5 years. So mas specific po ito. So this one is objective. So later on, we will discuss how to write your objective. So para mas madali sa inyo, i-identify ang isang statement kung siya ay objective. And para it will help also kung paano kayo mag-create ng sarili ninyong objective. So we have three types of objectives. The first one is the educational objectives. When we say educational objectives, it is used to identify the intended outcomes of the education process that guides the design of curriculum units. So when you say educational objectives, ang pinaka-keyword po natin dito is used for education process. So these objectives are used in the education process. Okay, when you say instructional objectives, it describes the teaching activities, specific content, areas, and resources used to facilitate effective instruction. So, kapag nagbigay ka ng instruction, when you provide an instruction to a client, what are your objectives? Okay? It describes the teaching activities, specific content areas, and resources used in facilitate effective instruction. Para mas mabilis masunod yung binigay mong instruction, so you have to set your objectives. Next, we have AKA learning objectives or the behavioral objectives, or what we known as the learning objectives. So this one, it describes precisely what the learner will be able to do following a learning situation. So this is more on learning objective, more on action-oriented rather than content-oriented, and usually learner-centered po ito rather than teacher-centered. Short-term outcome focus than process focus. Okay, in writing behavioral objectives and goals, what is the importance of having a well-written behavioral objectives? Bakit agad importante na ang objectives mo is well-written? Kasi it will describe precisely what the learner will be able to do following a learning situation. So, when you state your objectives uh, in a well-written manner, it will give the learners a clear statement on what is expected on them. Okay? So here are the importance why well-written objectives should be practiced. First, it provides clear direction for teaching and learning. It makes learning outcomes measurable and observable. And also, it ensures alignment of teaching, learning activities, and evaluation. For example, sa atin, okay, sa first year nursing students, magkakaiba kayo ng teacher, tama? Sa iba-ibang subject. Iba yung mayroong, kunyari example, section 1 to 5, iba yung professor sa health education or sa health assessment. Section 6 to 10, iba rin yung teacher nila sa health assessment. So kung hindi kayo pare-parehas ng objectives or ng syllabus or ng curriculum na ginagamit or ng syllabus, magkakaroon ng misalignment. Okay? Magkakaroon ng inconsistency sa tinuturo sa mga bata. So, kaya nga kailangan pare-parehas kayo ng objectives ng mga teachers. Okay? So, it ensure alignment of teaching and promote accountability and consistency. It also facilitates evaluation of students' performance and enhance motivation and self-direction. Again, behavioral objectives are essential in health education because they clearly define what learners are expected to know, do, or demonstrate after instruction. So they serve as guide for both the teachers and the students to focus on measurable learning outcomes. So in writing your behavioral objectives, uh, again, it makes teaching focused, measurable, and outcome based. So it helps learners understand what is expected of them so they can keep track of their progress. Also, it communicates to others, both learners and healthcare team members, what is planned for teaching and learning. So later on, i-discuss natin ano yung mga method na ginagamit in writing your behavioral objectives. One way to develop a well-written objective is to use the SMART approach. So, kapag gumawa kayo ng inyong objective, dapat nandito yung SMART. Okay, ginagamit niyo yung SMART. Diba, in your nursing process, you are also using this approach. Kapag gagawa kayo ng planning, dapat ito ay specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Again, specific, make sure na specific, okay? Kung ano yung goal mo, related dapat dyan yung objective. Is there a description of a precise behavior and the situation it will perform in? So is it concrete, detailed, focused, and defined? Naka-define ba or naka-detailed? Ano yung gusto mong mangyari doon sa objective mo? Is it measurable? Can the performance of the objective be observed and measured? Or achievable? Baka naman ang goal mo is maging maging dean's lister or maging top-notcher. Okay? Pero yung ini-aim mo, medyo you are attempting too much. Medyo mahirap. Kasi pagtingin mo pa lang sa grade consultation, ang grade mo ay line of 7. So sa tingin mo kaya bang hatakin yon para ikaw ay maging dean's lister or top-notcher? Just like that. So dapat achievable. Isipin mo rin kung kaya bang i-achieve ito ng patient ko or hindi. Again, with reasonable amount of effort and application, can the objective be achieved? Are you attempting too much? Or is it relevant? Is the objective important or worthwhile to the learner? Is it possible to achieve this objective? And syempre, time bound. So, dapat lagi siyang limit or is there a time limit, rate number, percentage, or frequency clearly stated? When will the objective be accomplished? Okay? So, dapat lagi merong time bound. Okay? After 8 hours of nursing intervention, the patient will be able to understand and demonstrate progression or recovery from illness. Just like, example lang po yun. Okay? So again, dapat nandun yung SMART method sa inyong objective. Nakikita po doon. So another approach that you can use in writing your objectives is the ABCD approach. Okay, the A for audience, B is for behavior, and C is for condition, and D is for degree. So later, isa-isahin natin kung ano yung mga yan. Okay, again, aside from using the SMART approach or the SMART method, you can also use the ABCD approach. So isa-isahin natin. Okay, when we say audience, it answers the question who. Who are you? Who is your target learner? Who is this activity intended for? Okay? Again, B is specific. Okay? Pwedeng the learner, the student, the patient, ano pa, the reader or participant, pero hindi kasamang instructor. Okay? So at the end, example, at the end of this instruction, at the end of this lesson, the student will be able to. Sino yung audience mo? So it answers the question, who? So as you target a specific audience with your objective, make sure that you are meeting the needs of all learners in that group. Okay? So for example, sinabi mo the high school students or the student. However, it could be written as specific as the first year high school student, second year high school student, okay, or the nursing students. Okay? Make it simple so that the objective does not get too wordy. And be specific. Lagi niyo tatandaan yan. Be specific. Okay, when you say behavior, it answers the questions what. Okay? What the participants will do. Ano yung gagawin? Ano yung gusto mong gawin niya? Okay? So when you say behavior, the behavior is the action or the action word or the verb that describes what the learner or the audience will be able to do after the instruction. Ano yung gusto mong gawin niya? Do you want your learner to understand, to identify, to plan, to organize, to create, to demonstrate, okay, to remember, and so on. That is your behavior. Ano yung ginamit mong verb na pinapagawa mo doon sa patient mo or doon sa client mo. Okay. When you say condition, it states what condition the instructor will impose when the learner are demonstrating mastery of a skill. So when you say condition, ano yung condition na binigay mo para magtapos na yung sinet mong objective? So usually it answers the question when or a while statement. So example niyan, when given a set of 5 unlabeled slides, or example, after the discussion or after finishing the PowerPoint presentation, the students or the first year students will be able to understand and demonstrate understanding on the topic. Okay? So ito yung kondisyon na binigay mo. Okay? So it answers the question when or while statement. What will the instructor allow the students to use in order to complete the instruction? So, pag sinabing condition, these are circumstances under which the objectives must be completed. Ito yung deadline na binigay mo, okay, or condition na binigay mo para ma-achieve na yung kanyang objective. Okay. When we say degree, kumbaga sa SMART, ito yung time bound. Okay? When we say degree, it identifies or this is the standard or criterion for judging the behavior performance. What is good enough? What has to happen for the learner to succeed? It might be according to speed. Gusto mo ay in 30 minutes, or in 3 weeks, in 1 month, dapat matutunan niya na to. Okay, that is your speed. Accuracy, gaano ka-accurate. Okay, pag degree of accuracy, pwede mo sabihin, it can be related to also in your time or answers, pwede mong sabihin na out of 10, yung naka-range, or pwedeng 100%, dapat ganito yung matutunan niya. Or 100%, 90%, dapat ito yung alam na nila. Okay, so that is your degree. Gaano kabigat yung Okay, so try to recall the following question, answer the following questions. You differentiate a goal and an objective, and try to give an examples for each. Also, discuss the ABCD approach in your own words and the SMART approach. And you try to give your own example using this ABCD approach and the SMART approach. Okay? Okay, for our next topic, we have the Bloom's taxonomy. When you say Bloom's taxonomy, it provides educators with a framework for designing curriculum, developing assessments, and guiding instructions to promote higher order thinking skills and deeper levels of understanding among students. Okay, again, it emphasizes the importance of progressing through the levels of cognitive complexity to foster meaningful learning experience and intellectual growth. So, ang Bloom's taxonomy, ginagamit yan ng mga educators to enhance critical thinking and to help students progress through the levels of cognitive complexity. Okay? Para mas magkaroon sila ng intellectual growth. So later, isa-isahin natin kung ano yung levels of order of thinking skills. Okay, so dapat nagbabago po tayo. In short, nag-i-improve ang ating critical thinking as we go on with our nursing. So si Benjamin Bloom, kaya nga Bloom's taxonomy kasi siya ang pioneer of American educational psychologist who developed the Bloom's taxonomy. Again, yung Bloom's taxonomy, ito yung framework or ito yung guide ng mga educator to help students to enhance their thinking ability. Okay? Si Benjamin Bloom. So kung mapapansin nyo in your mga major exams, ginagamit yan ng Fatima. Okay? Mapapansin nyo yung table of specification. In every question sa major exam ninyo, makikita nyo meron doon TOS. Okay? Tapos, to remember. Okay? Another question, nakalagay, to understand. Another, to apply, to analyze, to create. Okay. So, kasi nga, ini-enhance natin yung inyong level of thinking. Okay? Okay, so kung gumawa kayo ng assignment, dapat familiar na sa inyo itong Bloom's Taxonomy. So again, para siya ay framework or hierarchy. Nag-uumpisa tayo doon sa pinaka-lower level of thinking, which is to remember. Next is to understand, your ability to understand. Next is to apply, analyze, evaluate. And the higher level of thinking is to create. You are able to generate new ideas, new products, new processes, or ways of viewing things. So ang goal namin as an educator is ma-enhance yung inyong level of thinking. Kung kayo ay magaling sa memorization, dapat ang next step nyo, naiintindihan nyo rin yung inaaral nyo or yung minememorize nyo. Kaya nagkakaroon kayo ng deeper understanding. And then, syempre, ang next level no, dapat you are able to apply what you have learned theoretically. Okay? Kung ano yung natutunan nyo sa loob ng classroom, dapat you are able to apply it in the clinical settings. And then, so on. So, as we go on, as you move along, na-enhance ang iyong level of thinking. So, dapat pag graduate ka ng nursing, hindi lang more on theoretical ka. Hindi mo lang kabisado yung theory, but also you understand and you're able to apply. Hanggang sa ma-reach mo yung pinaka-higher level of thinking. Okay? So, isa-isahin po natin yan later on. Okay. So, the first level of cognitive learning according to Bloom's taxonomy is remembering or to remember. This level involves recalling facts, information, or concepts without necessarily understanding them deeply. So in your remembering, more on memorizations po ito. Okay? So in your first year hanggang second year, more on memorization yan. Kasi ang daming binobombard sa inyo, mga new information, unfamiliar medical terms na hindi kayo familiar, mga normal values, mga principles, mga do's and don'ts, ano yung mga procedures, ang dami. So, nabobombard kayo ng iba't ibang information kasi inaano na yung utak niyo, binibigyan kayo ng foundation. Kasi ano yung i-remember mo, ano yung i-recall mo? Facts, kung wala kang naaalala, kung wala kang inaaral, okay? So, ang pinaka-first level lagi is to remember. So, dapat nandito yung step na pinapamiliarize mo yung sarili mo doon sa lahat ng dapat mong matutunan in your first year hanggang sa susunod na level. So, for example, stating the normal values and the vital signs, memorizing the steps of hand washing, defining the common medical terms. Okay? So, katulad yung sa health assessment po ninyo. So, ngayon, tinuturo sa inyo kung ano yung mga step by step on how to do or how to perform assessment from head to toe. Okay? So, that is your remember. Okay. In your understanding level, so this understanding goes beyond mere memorization. It involves grasping the meaning of concepts, explaining ideas in one's own words, and interpreting information. Okay, so in your understanding, the keyword dito is, naintindihan mo ang isang information or ang isang idea if you are able to explain it in your own words. So, kaya mo siyang i-explain in your own words in simple terms. Example, you are able to explain the rationale behind a septic technique, describing the signs and symptoms of dehydration in your own words, interpreting a patient's laboratory result to explain what they indicate about that status. So, hindi ka na lang dito nagme-memorize, but you understand what you are reading or what you are learning, and you are able to explain the idea in your own simple words. Okay? So, for the next level, applying. You're able to apply. Application refers to the ability to use learned concept or principles in new situations or contexts. Usually, ang applying, okay, ito lagi ang complaint ng mga CI sa area. Kasi pagdating ng mga second year sa area, kung saan mo sila naka-assign, kung mapa-OB man or your community, hindi na nila alam kung ano yung mga naituro sa kanila, nakalimutan na kung ano yung mga tinuro sa kanila during their first year and then their second year, pati yung summer. Okay, nakalimutan na ano yung anatomy, physiology, paano yung health assessment, paano yung pag-educate, pag-provide ng health education, okay, yung mga tinuro sa fundamentals, paano yung tamang procedure, tamang bigay ng medicine administrations, pati pharmacology, paano mag-compute ng gamot. Kahit yung simple, pinaka-basic hand hygiene, pati yung simpleng pagkuha ng vital signs, nakakalimutan yung mga principles. Okay? Alam nila kung paano gawin, pero yung tama, hindi nila nasusunod. Okay? Ano ba yung mga principles sa pagkuha ng vital signs? Di ba? Dapat alam niyo yun. Paano ka nagkakaroon ng false low BP and false high BP. So, sabi ko sa inyo, application. Paano mo ba, nagle-level up ang iyong level of thinking kung nakakayanan mo nang i-apply kung ano yung natutunan mo sa loob ng classroom. Your ability to use learned concept. Okay? For example, performing proper hand washing technique in a hospital setting, applying the principles of body mechanics when transferring a patient, and using the nursing process to plan care for a client with diabetes. O yan pa, another example yan. Galit na galit ang mga CA dyan pag ang mga estudyante hindi marunong gumawa ng nursing care plan. Kaya nga kayo ngayon as early as now, tinuturuan na kayo kung paano gumawa ng NCP. Okay? Tinuturo yan sa health education, tinuturo sa inyong health assessment. Pagdating nyo ng fundamentals, ituturo na naman yan. So bakit pagdating ng area, nakakalimutan lagi or hindi na alam kung paano gumawa ng tamang NCP? Nakakalimutan yung mga principles. Nakakalimutan yung mga dapat components, mga key components sa paggawa ng NCP. Okay? Hindi na marunong gumamit ng NANDA, drug study, nakakalimutan. So yun po yung importance ng applying. Hindi lang po tayo more on memorization para lang tayo ay may maisagot sa exam, may maisagot sa quiz. Okay? Ang goal natin dito as an educator, ang goal namin as an educator, mai-level up yung inyong level of thinking. Hindi lang kayo more on theoretical. Naiintindihan po ba? So that's why, yung mga pinapagawa ko sa inyong activity or yung mga ginagawa ko sa inyo, yung nagpapa-recitation, nagtatawag ako randomly, okay? Pinag-agawa ko ng assignments, pinapagawa ko kayo ng mga activity like role-playing, or yung mga activity like yung assessment. Kasi application, okay? Doon mo kasi malalaman kung ikaw ay may natutunan din pag nagagamit mo siya in the actual setting. So, naintindihan? So, pag ako ang naging CA niyo ulit sa community at hindi kayo marunong mag-provide ng health education sa patient nyo, hindi kayo marunong gumawa ng teaching plan, hindi kayo marunong mag-set ng objectives and ng goals, ibig sabihin wala kayo natutunan sa health education. Okay? Pumasa lang kayo because of kabisado niyo lang yung theory. Pero ang sa totoo lang is, hindi niyo siya kayang i-apply in the real worlds or the real life setting. Naintindihan? Okay, next step is your ability to analyze. So after you apply, meron ka na ring next level of thinking is your ability to analyze. So analyzing involves breaking down complex ideas or information into component parts or identifying patterns or relationship and examining underlying structure. Or marunong ka na mag-analyze, marunong ka mag-connect ng mga patterns of ideas and concept. Ay ito pala, ganito pala 'to kaya kasi ito yung naalala ko tinuro din sa'min 'to dati. Okay? So you are able to examine underlying structure, kaya pala ganito yung signs and symptoms niya. Kasi ito yung ano niya, ito yung sakit nung patient mo. Okay? For example, analyzing patient's chart to identify a priority nursing problem. Differentiating between subjective and objective data during assessment, comparing two nursing care plans to determine which is more appropriate. So that is your analyzing. Meron kang much deeper understanding of the concept. Okay, next part is your evaluating. So in evaluation, it involves making judgments based on criteria and standards, assessing the validity or quality of information, arguments, or methods. In short, pag ikaw ay nasa evaluating level na, yung level of thinking mo, since alam na alam mo yung concept, alam na alam mo yung mga principles ng isang topic na yon, you're able to make judgment. Okay? Alam mo na, for example, nakita mo yung classmate mo, mali yung pagkuha ng BP niya. So, pwede mo siyang turuan, pwede mo na siyang i-correct. Kasi nga, nai-evaluate mo na siya. Okay? So, example nito, evaluating the effectiveness of a pain medication, critiquing a peer's return demonstration of intramuscular injection, assessing whether patient education goals were achieved after teaching. So dito mas confident ka sa nalalaman mo kasi you are proven mo na talagang na-master mo na yung knowledge na yun. So that is your evaluating, your ability to validity or quality of information, assessing the validity or quality of information and make judgment out of it. Okay, creating. Creating is the highest level of cognitive learning. So which involves synthesizing information, generating new ideas, designing solutions, and producing original work. In short, pag nandito ka na sa level na to, kahit anong problema ang ibigay sa iyo kapag ka ikaw ay nasa hospital setting, kaya mong gawa ng solusyon. Kasi na-reach mo na yung pinaka-highest level of critical thinking. Example, designing an individualized teaching plan for a patient with hypertension, developing a health education campaign for the community, and creating a simulation scenario for nursing students on emergency response. Okay, again, creation. Marunong ka mag-generate ng new ideas, designing solutions, and producing original work. Okay, so again, here is your taxonomy of objective according to learning domains, your Bloom's taxonomy, the 6 levels of domain. So again, mag-i-start ka sa remembering. Kung mapapansin nyo sa inyong mga exam, pagka ang tanong doon is merong term na define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, state. So ina-assess yung ability mo to remember. Kapag ka naman nakalagay classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, report, select, and translate, your ability to understand. Ang ina-assess naman doon. Okay, next, apply, execute, implement, solve, use, demonstrate, interpret, operate, schedule, sketch, and so on. Ang pinaka-lowest again, the level of thinking is yung ability mo to memorize or to recall information. But as you go on with your nursing, dapat nagle-level up po ang inyong level of thinking hanggang ma-reach no yung pinaka-highest, which is your ability to create or to generate new ideas or solutions. Okay? Okay, just a review. You try to recall or try to discuss the Bloom's taxonomy in your own words without looking your notes. So this is just a review. So i-check mo yung sarili mo, i-assess mo yung sarili mo kung naintindihan mo kung ano yung Bloom's taxonomy. So try to discuss the Bloom's taxonomy in your own words. Kahit mag-isa ka lang at wala kang kausap, wala kang kaharap. So i-discuss mo siya sa sarili mo. Pag kaya mo yung i-discuss sa sarili mo, ibig sabihin you understand kung ano yung i-discuss natin. Okay? Meron ka talagang natutunan. So, in learning domains, meron tayong tatlo. So, in learning domains, meron tayong categorization of educational objectives into distinct areas based on the types of learning outcomes they aim to achieve. So, meron po tayong tatlo. Okay, ano yung mga tatlong yon? So, we have cognitive, your knowledge-based learning domain, your affective, emotion-based domain, and the psychomotors, the skill-based domain. So kung maalala nyo, in our prelim period, binabanggit ko lagi sa inyo yung KSA. Ano yung KSA? Your knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Sabi natin noon, dinefine natin kung ano yung learning. Okay, sabi natin, learning takes place kung nagkaroon ng improvement sa isang individual sa kanyang knowledge, skills, and attitude. Kung puro knowledge lang, puro libro, puro theoretical lang ang alam mo, okay, kulang pa rin yung improvement mo. Kasi hindi nag-improve yung attitude, hindi rin nag-improve sa skills kasi hindi mo rin siya kayang i-apply. Okay, so ibig sabihin in your level of taxonomy, nandun ka pa sa rin sa pinaka-baba. Andun ka sa lowest, yung remember. Okay? So if your ability, kung kaya mo na siyang you're able to apply, kahit paano nagle-level up yung level of thinking. Kasi nagagamit mo na yung skills and also your attitude, nababago din. Okay? Okay, our first learning domain is the cognitive domain. It is your intellectual skills and knowledge acquisition. It involves mental processes such as perception, memory, problem solving, and critical thinking. In short, your cognitive domain is your knowledge-based domain. So it deals with intellectual abilities and tatandaan niyo po ito. Ang mga estudyante talaga, approximately 80% of all the students, ang na-e-enhance lang sa kanila ay yung cognitive domain. Okay? Nakakapasa sila sa exam, nakakasagot sa quiz, nakakasagot sa recitations. Okay? Pero later, hindi naman mahirap i- i-develop ang affective domain lalo na sa mga student. Again, 80% of educational objectives fall into this domain, your cognitive. And this is also the most familiar to both instructor and the learners. So in teaching the cognitive domain, meron tayong different methods used to stimulate learning. So we have lecture, which is nakakaantok minsan para sa inyo. Yung usual lecture, nakikinig lang kayo, nakaupo, mamaya-maya aantukin na. Group discussion and one-on-one instruction. Kaya nga sabi nga natin in our week 5 topics, in the principles of teaching and learning, dapat mayroong active participations between the learner and the teacher. Kasi kung walang active participation, medyo magkakaroon tayo ng problem sa learning. Okay? And also, ini-emphasize doon na learning is an active process. Hindi lang puro passive na you are dependent on the educator. Dapat kayo rin po, meron din kayong self-awareness na alam nyo kung ano yung areas that you need improvement. Okay? So again, we have different methods. Sabi na po natin, lecture, group discussion, and one-on-one instruction. So question, how much time for practice is necessary to influence the short-term and long-term retention? So usually, pag sinabi natin must practice, ito yung cramming. Ito yung learning information all at once in one day. Nagka-cram ka. Sa gabi na inaaral mo lahat nandun. Kinabukasan na yun yung exam mo. Or ikaw ba yung distributed practice? Gusto mo, you are learning information over successive period of time. Gusto mo, inaaral mo na siya ng mas maaga, paunti-unti. Okay? Hindi, ayaw mo nang nagka-cram. So in your cognitive domain, para ma-enhance ang inyong cognitive domain, sundin po natin yung Bloom's taxonomy. Okay? Yung sundin natin yung level. Pag na-achieve natin lahat yun, ibig sabihin, nag-improve or nag improve ang ating cognitive or the knowledge-based domain. Okay, our next domain is the affective domain. Ito yung ating attitude. Okay? So the affective domain involves the emotional and attitudinal aspects of learning, encompassing feelings, beliefs, values, and motivation. Sabi ko kanina, your cognitive domain usually 80% ng objectives or educational objectives fall in your cognitive domain. And ang pinakamahirap, often the most difficult objectives to develop is your affective domain. In short, kung kayo ay educator or kung ako yung ako yung educator po ninyo. So mahirap para sa aming educator na ituro sa estudyante paano mababago yung kanilang perspective sa learning. Paano namin may tuturo sa mga estudyante na bigyan ng halaga yung mga natututunan nila. Paano bigyan ng halaga yung mga tinuturo sa kanila. Okay? Paano nila bibigyan ng importance, ng significance ng word. Kasi lahat naman ng itinuturo sa inyo dito ay magagamit niyan in your real life scenarios. Okay? So ito yung isasabi ko sa inyo, pinakamahirap ituro sa student. Kasi ang goal nga lang ng student, pag naisagot niya na yan sa exam, nakapasa na, maya-maya kinabukasan, wala na, nakalimutan na. So hindi isinasa puso. Okay? Okay. In your affective domain or the feeling domain, there are 5 levels of behavioral objectives, or these objectives are your steps to achieve or to improve your affective domain or your feeling domain. So we have receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterization. In the first level, so kung i-compare natin yung ating affective domain in your cognitive domain, wherein in your cognitive domain, meron tayong Bloom's taxonomy na nag-uumpisa tayo sa pinaka-lowest level, which is to remember, hanggang doon sa pinaka-highest level, which is to ability to create. So, same lang din po siya dito sa ating affective domain. So, to improve your affective domain or your emotions or your attitude, we have to start at the bottom. Okay? First is your receiving. So, in your receiving, this level involves passively being aware of, listening to or attending to stimuli, whether they are emotions, informations, or experiences. In short, in first step, the first step of your improving of your attitude or your affective domain is being aware of. Dapat meron po kayong self-awareness. Meron kayong ability to listen. Meron kayong you're attending to a stimuli. Okay, for example, listens attentively during a lecture on patient safety, shows awareness of the importance of infection control, pays attention to a demonstration on proper hand hygiene. So that is your receiving. You are aware of, or you give importance, or you are listening. Okay, the next level of your affective domain para ma-improve ang inyong affective domain is your ability to respond. Responding entails your ability to actively participating or reacting to stimuli, such as showing interest, following instruction, or expressing preferences. Again, to improve your affective domain or your attitude, dapat pakita rin po kayo ng actively participation, okay? Magpakita kayo ng interest or ng motivation na gusto niyo po talagang matuto. Okay? For example, participates in group discussion about ethical issues in nursing, asking questions during clinical duty about patient care procedures, performs hand washing when instructed during return demonstration. So, nagpapakita kayo ng, tawag ito, interest. Okay? Na gusto niyo talagang matuto. So, that is your second level of affective domain. So, the third level is your valuing. So, ito yung isa sa pinakamahirap ituro sa student or sa learner. Valuing involves attaching worth or significance to stimuli, ideas, or beliefs, and establishing priorities based on personal or societal values. Okay. For example, you expresses appreciation for holistic patient care after observing in the ward, voluntarily follows safety protocols even without supervision, shows respect and empathy toward patients regardless of background. So that is your valuing. You are giving significance, you are giving importance to what you are learning. Again, ito yung isa sa pinakamahirap ituro sa student. Kasi nga, usually kapag ang student naisagutan mo yan sa exam, nakalimutan na yan, kinakalimutan na kasi para sa kanila hindi naman siya importante. Okay? So sana yung mga itinuturo ko sa inyo, yung mga natututunan nyo, you are giving importance. Okay po? Kasi ito nga po ay magagamit niyo into real life scenarios or your real life nursing. Okay, the next level is your organizing. So in your organizing, it refers to the process of integrating values, beliefs, and attitudes into a coherent system or framework, aligning one's action and decisions accordingly. So in your organizing, hindi lang ina-apply mo, but you are integrating. Okay? Inaano mo na siya as part of your character. Example, balances academic responsibilities and clinical duties based on professional priorities. Integrates respect, confidentiality, and compassion in all patient interactions, explains how personal beliefs align with professional nursing ethics. Okay? You are integrating. Ginagamit mo na sa araw-araw yung mga natututunan mong values, beliefs, and attitudes. Alam mo, natutunan mo during your lecture kung anong importance ng protecting your patient's data, privacy, and confidentiality. So, ginagamit mo na siya in actual. Ini-integrate mo kung ano yung mga natutunan mo. Okay? And the last part of improving your effective learning is characterizing. In characterizing, this is the highest level of effective learning, where values and beliefs become internalized and consistently guide behavior, shaping one's character and identity. So kung kayo ay nung pagpasok nyo dito sa nursing school, hindi ibang-iba yung pagkatao nyo noon, wala kayong pakialam sa mga natututunan nyo, hindi nyo binibigyan ng halaga. In your characterizing, parang nagiging bagong individual ka. Nagiging bago yung pagkatao mo. Okay? Nagiging new individual ikaw. Okay? Ito yung highest level of learning kasi naka-embed na sa personality mo, sa character mo. Ina-apply mo siya kahit saan ka mapunta. Okay? So example niyan, consistently demonstrate honesty and accountability in documentation and patient care. Advocates for patient rights even in challenging situations. Serve as a role model for classmates by maintaining professionalism and compassion at all times. So kaya nga po tayo meron tinatawag na oath taking once na ikaw ay nakapasa na ng board exam. Kasi in your oath taking, nanunumpa ka sa harap ng Diyos at sa harap ng mga tao na as a professional nurse, gagawin mo yung tama and to uphold the image of the nursing profession. Puprotektahan mo yung image ng nursing profession and gagawin mo yung tama, yung standard, the protocols. Okay? That is your characterizing. So methods used to help learners acquire effective behavior, we have role model, role-playing, simulation, and gaming. So the 3 levels that governs attitudes and feelings, we have intrapersonal, interpersonal, and extrapersonal. So again, paano daw nade-develop? Unang-una, intrapersonal. So meron dapat tayong self-awareness. Interpersonal, how you interact with other people, how you view your relationships with other individuals. Extrapersonal is your perception of others as an established group. So isa-isahin po natin. Okay, in your intrapersonal, this is your personal perception or self-awareness. O narinig na naman natin yung self-awareness. Okay, inulit-ulit ko yan during our prelim period wherein discuss natin yung different learning theories. Kung naaalala nyo, kaninong theories nga yung self-awareness? Okay, yung pinaka-highest form of intelligence, sabi ng psychologists. So the highest form of intelligence is yung metacognition. Kung naalala nyo, yung kay John Flavel, the thinking about thinking. Once na ikaw ay self-aware, alam mo yung, kilala mo yung sarili mo, you recognize your own strength and weaknesses, okay? Mas malaki yung chance na you will be able to improve yourself. Okay, so being aware of your emotions when caring for critically ill patients and reflecting on how your personal values influence your care for others. So unang-una, kung gusto mong mabago or ma-improve yung sarili mo, dapat maging aware ka muna. Pinaka-basic po yan. Pinaka-highest form of intelligence is metacognition, thinking about thinking or your ability to have a self-awareness. Okay, in your interpersonal perspective of self in relation to other individuals, this is your ability to build rapport with patients and their families. Interpersonal is your ability to interact with other people. So you are collaborating effectively with your classmates and health team members, and you are showing empathy toward the patient who is in pain or afraid. Again, interpersonal is how you deal or how you interact with other people. Okay, for example, a student listens attentively and comforts the patient who expresses fear before surgery. And then we have your extrapersonal or perception of others as an established group. So this means that you are understanding the culture and policies of a hospital or community, participating in health campaigns or outreach programs, or promoting teamwork and upholding the image of the nursing profession. So in your extrapersonal, ito yung your ability to protect the organizations or established group that you are belonging to. Okay? So for example, kapag yun nga, sinasabi ko kanina, kapag ikaw ay naging RN na, so ibig sabihin, ikaw ay member na ng nursing profession. And it is your duty and responsibility to uphold the image of the nursing profession. For example, kung ikaw ay member or ikaw ay hired sa isang organizations or sa isang hospital, dapat you are doing your part to protect that organization. Okay? Strategies for fostering effective development. So these are the list of your different strategies to improve our effective development. So first, you are incorporating activities that encourage self-reflection, such as journaling, discussion, or role-playing exercises. So these activities or these strategies will improve your intrapersonal effective development, okay? For example, kung ikaw ay nagkakaroon ng anxiety, nagkakaroon ka ng depression, masyadong maraming gumugulo sa utak mo, ang pinaka-best practice actually na gawin is yung journaling, okay? This is sina-suggest yan ng mga psychologists and psychiatrists. I-write down mo, isulat mo yung lahat ng mga gumugulo sa utak mo. Ano yung mga strength mo, ano yung mga weaknesses mo, ano yung fears mo, okay? Sino yung mga nagmo-motivate sa'yo, ano yung goals mo, at ano yung plans mo. Ano yung goals mo for today, ano yung goals mo for tomorrow. Okay? Para mabawasan, okay? Mabawasan yung mga gumugulo sa utak mo. So, journaling is a good practice for self-reflection, providing opportunities for collaborative learning and peer interaction to enhance empathy and social skills. Examples dyan, yung mga role-playing, integrating character education programs or more moral dilemmas into the curriculum to promote ethical reasoning and decision making. So usually ano natin ito is more on interpersonal. Offering guidance and mentorship to help students explore and articulate their values, beliefs, and aspirations. So this is more on interpersonal and modeling positive behaviors and attitudes as educators to serve as role models for students to emulate. So this is more on intrapersonal. Okay, our last domain or our last domain is your psychomotor. So when you say psychomotor, this is skill based. It involves the involvement of your physical skills, coordinations, and motor abilities. It encompasses activities that require physical movement, manipulation, and control. In short, pag sinabi mong skill, paano ka magkakaroon ng mastery sa isang skill? Ano-ano yung mga objectives or steps na pwede mong gawin to improve your skills. Okay. So just like in your affective and your cognitive domain, na meron tayong Bloom's taxonomy, and in your affective, meron din tayong steps or levels of affective objectives to improve your affective domain. So dito rin po sa ating psychomotor skills, we have different levels of behavioral objectives to improve naman our skills. Okay? So again, mag-start tayo sa pinaka-lowest or pinaka-first step, which is your perception. Next is your set, guided response, mechanism, complex over response, adaptations, and origination. Okay? So isa-isayin natin. So the first step is your perception. Again, you show sensory awareness to objects or cues. So just like in your affective domain, where you show awareness also, in your perception, yun naman ay you use your sensory awareness. Okay, for example, kung gusto mong matuto or ma-master ang isang skill, use your sensory awareness. Okay, for example, feeling the patient's radial pulse to locate the artery before taking the pulse rate, observing the correct color change in a test strip before recording your urine test result, inspecting the patient's skin turgor and temperature before assessing for dehydration. Okay? For example, ano bang skill usually yung pinaka-basic na nagkaka-problem ang ating mga student? Okay? For example, yung taking vital signs, especially yung BP, pag-take ng BP. So there are times na kahit ilang beses mo na siyang ginagawa, nagkakaroon ka pa rin ng doubt kung tama ba yung nakukuha mong BP. Okay? Susundin mo lang yung step or objectives that guides on how to improve your or master that skills, okay? So, unang-una, perception. Magkaroon ka muna ng sensory awareness, okay? Gamitin mo yung sensory mo to improve that skills. So, alamin mo muna kung ano yung mga principles sa pagkuha ng BP. Aralin mo muna siya, ano yung mga normal values, ano yung mga locations or sites kung saan pwede kang kumuha ng BP. Okay, that is your sensory awareness. Okay, next step is set. When you say set, you are exhibiting readiness to take certain kind of action. Okay? Pinaka-keyword natin dito is yung readiness. Okay? So for example, yun nga sabi natin, you want to master the skill of taking BP. So, after magkaroon ka ng sensory awareness, dapat i-ready mo naman yung sarili mo. So, again, mag-ready ka, aralin mo muna yung mga concept, aralin mo muna yung mga principles, and then yung materials na gagamitin mo, pwede kang bumili kung ano yung ang tawag ito, adapt or yung mas comfortable mong gamitin. Okay? So, preparing all the, for example, preparing all needed materials and assuming proper position before starting hand washing. Showing willingness and focus before doing a determined demonstration in the skills lab. Taking a deep breath and mentally reviewing the steps before giving an intramuscular injection. In short, dito ay nag-exhibit ka ng readiness. So, nire-ready mo muna yung sarili mo. Okay, next is your guided response. In your guided response, you are exerting effort via overt action under the guidance of an instructor to imitate behavior. So, nagkaroon ka na ng sensory awareness, alam mo na ikaw ay medyo nagkaka-problem pa sa pagkuha ng BP, and then, niready mo, sarili mo, nag-aral ka pang mabuti, inaral mo yung mga normal, yung mga procedures, yung mga principles, ano yung mga normal values, and then, ngayon, nag-exert ka naman ng extra effort. So, dito, in your guided response, pwede kang you ask guidance from an instructor or yung mga classmate mo na humanap ka ng someone na pwedeng magturo sa'yo ng tamang pag-BP. Okay? So, that is your guided response. Next is your mechanism. In your mechanism, you are repeatedly performing steps of your desired skills. So, dahil gusto mong ma-master, naturo na sa'yo yung tama, naturo na sa'yo kung paano, ay naaral mo na yung mga normals, yung mga procedural, step-by-step procedure. Ay naaral mo yung mga do's and don'ts, naaral mo yung mga gusto yung mga dapat iwasan para hindi ka makakuha ng false high BP or false low BP. So ngayon naman, mag-exert ka naman ng effort to master that skill by repeatedly performing the steps. Okay? Kung gusto mo ma-master yung pagkuha ng BP, for example, mag-exert ka ng effort to practice, okay? Humanap ka ng at least 50 individuals para kunan mo ng BP. So later on, magiging mas familiar na sa'yo kung paano makarinig ng Korotkov sound, okay? Paano makukuha yung systolic and diastolic. So that is your mechanism. So you're mastering the skill. Okay, next. So, nagawa mo na yung part mo, nag-practice ka na, okay, nag-BP ka ng 50 individuals, hindi ka pa nakontento, nag-BP ka pa ulit sa kapitbahay nyo, drive mo ulit silang puno ng BP. So after that, nagkaroon ka ng complex over response or you perform complex tasks automatically. So naging basic na lang sa'yo yung unang skills na para sa'yo is mahirap siya nung una, okay? So naging automatic na siya and basic na lang. That is your complex over response. So naging efficient ka na and confident sa pagkuha ng tamang BP. In your adaptation, you're able to modify or adapt a motor response. So dito, medyo nagkakaroon ka na ng ability to adjust or modify something doon sa procedure para mas mapabilis yung pagkuha mo ng PP. Okay? You are able to modify or adapt. Gumagamit ka na ng alternatives or you are able to provide another technique para mas mapabilis yung trabaho mo. And the last and the highest highest level of improving your psychomotor skill is origination. So kung sa cognitive meron tayong in your Bloom's taxonomy, the highest is to create, your ability to create. In your affective, the highest is your characterization or embedded na, integrated na sa pagkatao mo, yung kung ano yung tama in nursing profession. So in your psychomotor skills, meron din tayong tinatawag na origination. So in your origination, your ability to create new motor acts. So yung example ko kanina, yung pagkuha mo ng BP na na-master mo na siya, later on, naging automatic na, naging basic na lang, and then later on, you're able to create new motor acts. So minsan, dahil sobrang galing mo na mag-BP, minsan hindi ka na gumagamit ngayon ng BP cup. So kaya mo na mag-BP just by palpating the pulse. Gumagamit ka na lang ng palpatory BP. So again, in teaching of psychomotor skills, these are the methods of teaching. Okay, pwedeng demonstration, return demo, simulation, example nun is yan. So in psychomotor skills development, this is very egocentric, mental imaging or mental practice. Okay, pwede yun. Or kung intrinsic feedback, you ask yourself kung enough na ba yung ginawa mong effort para ma-master isang skill. Or augmented feedback, you ask somebody who is a professional from that skill kung tama yung ginagawa mo. So that is your psychomotor skill. That is how you master your skill. So again, just for a review, so again, self-awareness po tayo. So i-apply niyo yung self-awareness. Tingnan mo, assess mo yung sarili mo. If you are able to discuss the two domains. Kasi tatlo yan, medyo mahaba. So i-discuss mo muna sa sarili mo yung first domain natin na cognitive and affective. Ano yung pagkakapareho nilang dalawa and ano yung difference? Ano yung mga levels or ano yung mga objectives or steps to master that domain? Okay? And then, also answer the question number 2. What is psychomotor domain? You explain it in your own words. Sabi ko dun sa Bloom's Taxonomy, if you really understand the subject matter, you are able to explain it in your own words and simple terms. Okay? And also answer the questions number 3. What are the 3 levels that governs attitude and feelings? And explain it in your own words. Okay? So, by doing that, na-assess mo yung sarili mo kung meron kang natutunan sa topic na ito. Okay, so let's now proceed with our next topic, the teaching plan. So when we say teaching plan, this is your systematic outline of what, how, and when to teach. So it serves as a blueprint or ito yung nagiging outline that guides the educator in delivering effective instruction and achieving learning outcomes. Again, yung pinapagawa ko po sa inyo na teaching plan. So gagawa po kayo ng sample teaching plan. So the teaching plan should clearly and concisely identify the order of these various parts of the education process. Okay, dapat makita ko po doon yung goal, yung different objectives, yung learning outcomes, and so on. Okay? Again, what is the purpose? Bakit kailangan natin mag-provide pa ng teaching plan before we face our patient? Bakit kailangan pa natin magkaroon ng lesson plan? Bakit kailangan pa magkaroon ng plan? So it provides direction and organization for teaching. It also ensures that learning activities meet specific objectives. Mas madaling ma-meet ang objectives kung ito po ay well stated. Okay, na-discuss ko na kanina what is the difference between the goal and objectives. And how will you write an objective? So dapat yung statement no ng objective, sinusunod yung pattern ng SMART or yung the ABCD approach. Okay? Kung SMART yung gagamitin mo, dapat yan ay specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Kung ABCD naman, dapat nandun yung uh, audience, the behavior, condition, and your degree. Okay? So, dapat specific ang objective and time-bound. Dapat yan ay for short term. Okay? So, it helps measure learning outcomes and it also promotes consistency in teaching, especially in clinical settings. So these are the key components or ito yung mga nilalaman ng inyong teaching plan. So first is your learner's character by age, educational level, learning style, and readiness to learn. So na-discuss na natin ito in our week 6 topic. So first step is assessment, tama? In your assessment, you're assessing your patient or your learner. Okay? Ano yung educational level niya? Ano yung age? Kasi ano yung learning style and readiness to learn? Kasi nga sabi natin, there are different learning style in each individual. Magkakaiba tayo ng learning style. Okay? Pinagawa ko pa kayo ng assessment last time kung saan yung partner mo, in-apply mo yung different learning style. Okay? So, in learning needs naman, what the learner must know or be able to do. So, sabi ko sa inyo, pipili kayo ng topic, specific for each group. Dapat magkakaiba po kayo ng topic. And then, yung topic na yon, you identify ano yung mga kailangan malaman ng patient ko. Ano mga kailangan matutunan ng learner. Again, na-discuss natin before, ano yung, when you are identifying the learning needs, you need to prioritize. Okay? Prioritize the learning needs. If it is learning needs that needs for survival, learning needs that relevant kasi it can cause infection, complications, and readmissions, or these are the learning needs na nice to know lang but not relevant. So you make sure na you identify the different learning needs of your client. And then your goals and behavioral objectives. Again, ang goals nyo and behavioral objectives should be clear, measurable learning outcomes. So ang goal po natin again is general in nature or global or broad. And usually for long term. Okay, statement niya. And then your behavioral objective is concise, is specific. Okay, it follows the format of the ABCD format and the SMART approach, and clear. Okay, dapat nandun yung mga characteristics mo niya. So, doon ko yan ginigrade. And then your content outline, these are the topics or information to be covered depending on your topic, kung ano yung gusto nyong topic na ituro. So, nandun yung content outline. And then your teaching strategies. Ano sa tingin niyo yung methods or techniques that best suit dun sa title nyo or dun sa topic nyo? Okay? It can be lecture or demonstration kung yun ay procedure, discussion, or written demonstration. Time allotment, duration for each topic or activity. So, kung ano yung ginagawin nyo doon sa objective nyo, for example, after 3 hours of nursing intervention, or after 3 weeks, or after 1 month, in your time allotment, dapat mahati-hati mo yan. Okay? Depende doon sa topic mo. And then in your resources or materials, hands out, videos, equipment, etc. Ano yung mga ginamit mo? And what are your forms of evaluation? How will you assess your learner kung may natutunan po siya? Okay, katulad ng ginagawa ko sa inyo. So, ina-assess ko, katulad nung sa mga PowerPoint natin kanina. So, yung mga may recall na nakalagay. So, that is my way of assessing kung kayo po ay may natutunan in every topic. Kasi nga mahaba yung PowerPoint natin. So, pinuputol-putol ko siya para i-check muna kung kayo ay may natutunan doon sa na-discuss na. So, that is form of evaluation. Pwedeng may quiz, skill check, or reflection. So, this is your sample teaching plan. Ganitong format yung gagawin po ninyo. Okay? But again, you have to choose your own topic. Kung ano yung topic na gusto nyo. Dapat hindi kayo magkakaparehas sa ibang group. So, identify your learning needs. Okay? Dito po gumamit tayo ng NANDA. Okay? Nag-provide ng ano dyan, ito diagnosis. And ano yung problem problem na na-identify dun sa patient. For example. And then your purpose, para saan? Goal. Again, ang goal should be broad or general and usually for long term. For example, ito. Ang problem na na-identify niya is yung readiness for enhanced knowledge, continuity of the breastfeeding process, related to a desire enhanced self-management and reduced risk of neonate health problems of premature baby. So, ang goal na dito is the client will be able to understand the risk of having premature babies and how to avoid this risk from happening. So, general siya in nature and long term. And these are the learning objectives. So, kung mapapansin nyo, ang kanyang learning objectives is marami. Hindi lang po siya isa. So, dapat mas marami, mas maganda kasi kung mas marami kang objectives, mas madali mong ma-achieve yung goal mo or mas madali mong matatarget yung goal mo. So, andito yung kanyang objectives. Following a 20-minute teaching session, ayan yung condition. The client will be able to describe, so ayan yung kanyang behavior. What is premature birth? So ito yung kanyang condition, okay? And your client or your audience, and so on. Okay? So lahat ng objectives na yan yung kanyang steps-by-step procedure para ma-address yung kanyang goal. And then the content outline, ano yung mga topics na i-cover mo for each objectives. What are the methods of teaching used? And time allotment. So kung mapapansin nyo sa time allotment, nakalagay dito sa inyong objectives following a 20 minutes teaching session. So dito hinati-hati dun sa time allotment. Depending kung gaano nyo katagal i-discuss yung content outline. Okay? So hinati-hati. So pag tinotal mo yan, 20 minutes pa rin yan. What are the resources or the instructional materials used? And the methods of evaluation. Okay, for the learning contract, this is our last topic. When we say learning contract, this is a written agreement between the teacher and the learner that outlines what will be learned, how it be learned, and how learning will be evaluated. So it promotes self-directed learning and accountability. So a learning contract is an agreement, okay? This is a mutually negotiated agreement, usually in the form of a written document drawn up by the teacher and the learner. So it specifies the learner's what the learner will learn, how learning will be achieved, and within what time allotment, and the criteria for measuring the success of the learning. So what are the purposes bakit kailangan pa ng contract? Okay? So it encourage active participation and ownership of learning. Okay? So kaya ko nga kayo tinanong kung anong gusto nyo. Okay? Gusto nyo mag-discuss or gusto nyo makikinig na lang ng recorded? Kasi kapag minsan nag-discuss, wala namang active participation, so sayang lang yung effort, sayang lang yung laway. O iba kasi gusto yung sarili nila yung oras yung hawak nila. It helps learners identify their learning needs and goals. It provides a clear plan and structure for learning activities, and it serves as a guide for both teacher and the learner in monitoring progress. So here is an example of the learning contract letter. Okay? So hindi na po kayo gagawa niyan. Ang importante lang, sabi na sa objective natin kanina, you are able to create your own teaching plan. Itong learning contract, wag na po yan. Okay? So again, the benefits of learning contract, it promotes critical thinking and independence. It fosters mutual respect between the educator and learner kasi meron nga kayong agreement and nagkaroon kayo ng mutual agreement. So it makes learning personalized and goal-oriented. Okay, so that's it for your week 7. I hope you learned something. So try to answer those questions sa mga recall slides. Sana po i-apply ninyo at talagang sabi nga is matutunan niyo yung value or yung affective domain. Okay po? If you have any questions, sa ano na lang natin, pag nag-meet na lang po ulit tayo. Okay? So yung inyong teaching plan, sundin niyo po yung format na nandun sa table and the key components.